Throughout the summer, Democrats cruelly blocked COVID relief legislation in an effort to advance their extreme left-wing agenda and influence the election. Then, a few months ago, Congress started negotiations on a new package to get urgently needed help to the American people. It's taken forever. However, the bill they are now planning to send back to my desk is much different than anticipated. It really is a disgrace. For example, among the more than 5,000 pages in this bill, which nobody in Congress has read because of its length and complexity, it's called the COVID Relief Bill, but it has almost nothing to do with COVID. This bill contains $85.5 million for assistance to Cambodia, $134 million to Burma, $1.3 billion for Egypt and the Egyptian military, which will go out and buy almost exclusively Russian military equipment, $25 million for democracy and gender programs in Pakistan, $505 million to Belize, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, and Panama. $40 million for the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C., which is not even open for business. $1 billion for the Smithsonian, and an additional $154 million for the National Gallery of Art. Likewise, these facilities are essentially not open. $7 million for reef fish management, $25 million to combat Asian carp, $2.5 million to count the number of amberjack fish in the Gulf of Mexico, a provision to promote the breeding of fish in federal hatcheries, $3 million in poultry production technology, $2 million to research the impact of down trees, $566 million for construction projects at the FBI. The bill also allows stimulus checks for the family members of illegal aliens, allowing them to get up to $1,800 each. This is far more than the Americans are given. Despite all of this wasteful spending and much more, the $900 billion package provides hardworking taxpayers with only $600 each in relief payments, and not enough money is given to small businesses, and in particular restaurants, whose owners have suffered so grievously. They were only given a deduction for others to use in business their restaurant for 2 years. This 2-year period must be withdrawn, which will allow the owners to obtain financing and get their restaurants back in condition. Congress can terminate it at a much later date, but 2 years is not acceptable. It's not enough. Congress found plenty of money for foreign countries, lobbyists, and special interests, while sending the bare minimum to the American people who need it. It wasn't their fault. It was China's fault, not their fault. I am asking Congress to amend this bill and increase the ridiculously low $600 to $2,000 or $4,000 for a couple. I am also asking Congress to immediately get rid of the wasteful and unnecessary items from this legislation and to send me a suitable bill.
What age did you start hearing about?
Or else the next administration will have to deliver a COVID relief package, and maybe that administration will be me, and we will get it done. Thank you very much.
Apologies about the mess up. No commercial, I had to skip. One more video to show you something else. But when are black people gonna learn? When? The Democrats, the House, they hold the pocket, they hold the money. You got some Republicans, you might call them Democrats too though. But these people y'all voted for, These are people y'all was so protesting for, so eager to stay in office for. Give you $600. You get illegals and foreign. They don't care about you. Where you gonna learn? Where you gonna understand that? Getting mad at President Donald Trump. You gonna realize now he been fighting for you all this time. Hopefully he stay in office and wake y'all dummies up. I want to show you. Hold up.
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
It don't have nothing to do with Trump. It has to do with the fact I want something for my community. I would love to see.
Take a look at my record, man. I extended the voting rights 25 years. I have a record that is second to none. The NAACP's endorsed me every time I've run. Come on. Take a look at the record. If I'm president, Betsy DeVos's whole notion from charter schools to this are gone. No privately funded charter school would receive, or private charter school receive a penny of federal money. None.
One of the classic examples to me of few things that are going very well in the ghettos across the country, and that's some of the charter schools that have come in, where the public schools, the kids are just wiped out. I mean, the kids in those ghetto schools often are 2 or 3 years behind the national norms and all kinds of stuff. But in some of these ghetto schools, especially those run by the KIPP organization or by the Success
charter schools.
Charter schools in the ghetto.
Right.
Their kids are scoring at levels equal to, and in some cases better than, that in affluent suburbs where the kids come from families making $200,000 a year. And you would think, my God, this is something that ought to get a lot of attention. The welfare state supporters are fighting against charter schools. The NAACP is fighting against charter schools. The teachers' unions give a lot of money to politicians. They give money to the NAACP. They want a control of the schools because the schools are a source of jobs. Whether or not the kids learn anything is not their concern. I think the most cynical thing you can find in American politics are those people who are making themselves big champions of blacks, and yet who are fighting against it. One school, kind of schools, that are offering a way out of poverty for millions of black kids.
Thomas, when I had you on right before the election,
Just because they black doesn't mean they have your best interest in mind or any other race. They've been fighting against you the whole time, but you still vote for him. Hopefully President Donald Trump will get reelected and this fraud will just showed out, because it's fraud. They cheated. But time to wake up, man. Quit being asleep. For real. Start doing your research.